Las Vegas, a gambler's paradise. The game is blackjack, and the odds favor the house. Until a group of college students changed the rules.
It was a blast, getting away with everything you're not supposed to do but want to get away with.
It was us against the casinos, and aside from making money, we got a lot of joy out of the fact that we knew we were beating them.
Their scheme is so simple, so bold, it will revolutionize the game of blackjack forever.
The amount of money that they were able to extract over a period of just hours, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, that changed the stakes of the game.
There you go, 21.
In the kingdom of high rollers, they go unnoticed. Just another group of gamblers hoping to score against the money machine of Las Vegas blackjack. But these gamblers are college students operating as card-counting teams with one goal: to win millions of dollars by beating the casinos at their own game.
It was fun to know that everyone else out there thinks they might be winning, but they're going to lose. And we are actually going to win.
That's what turned them on. They wanted to go out there and beat a system that was supposedly unbeatable.
They may only be a group of college kids barely old enough to vote, but their strategy and daring make them winners in a world where image is everything.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lewis.
How you doing?
Mr. K.
I know that there were definitely times that women or people in general gravitated towards me because I was betting a lot of money or it looked like I had a lot of money.
If I can be of any assistance to you gentlemen while you're here in Las Vegas.
You have to remember, these are MIT kids, and although they hate me saying it, they really were geeky kids who grew up in high school, were not necessarily the big shot, didn't have the girls' attention when they were younger. They go out to Vegas and they're a guy with $1 million walking around a casino. It's a different circumstance.
Here's to winning.
He was able to go out with cheerleaders and strippers and people like that who liked him essentially for his money or who he was in Las Vegas.
The lifestyle of a big-time gambler is hypnotizing to these young students, and as the money rolls in, they are lured deeper into a lifestyle that transforms them from student frogs into rich princes simply with a turn of a card.
For most of the kids that go to MIT, they don't have a lot of competition in high school. And you get to school and all of a sudden you're no longer the big geek in the tank. And then this opportunity comes up to go to Vegas and to party like a rock star, go out and win money off the casinos. Who wouldn't want to do that?
Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Cambridge, Massachusetts. A top university for mathematical and engineering minds seeking success in a career field where genius and ego often go hand in hand.
I think you get enough smart people together, they're going to want to do something other than program computers and solve math problems.
Science and math is the thing at MIT. These are the smartest kids essentially in the country. But they're also a little bit anarchistic. I mean, that's the whole MIT aura, is people who are really, really good at math and science, but maybe aren't necessarily that good citizens.
In the early 60s, when an MIT professor devises a mathematical probability blueprint for the game of blackjack, card counting is born.
For years at MIT, people have been working on a scientific approach to beating the game of blackjack. And by using computer simulations and carefully studying the probabilities involved, we have devised methods for people to come in and win consistently.
Your basic mathematical advantage is 2% per hand if you play it perfectly, which can reach a sizable amount if you're playing large enough numbers.
During the next 25 years, MIT students transform card counting into an ingenious gambling endeavor that is 1 part statistical analysis, 1 part theater, and 1 part sheer daring. Las Vegas never sees it coming.
It's not magic tricks and it's not Rain Man geniuses. It's playing scientifically and intelligently and the power of science versus luck, gambling, and hunches.
By the early 90s, there are several blackjack teams operating on campus. teams with bankrolls of millions. Whiz kids who will take the gambling world by surprise. Simeon Dukac is a founding member of a team known as the Amphibians.
Yeah, I was walking down the hall and I was in graduate school, being a little bored and depressed with the long corridors and the computer screens, And I saw a poster that said, win lots of money over the summer, play blackjack.
Simeon was definitely more of an anarchistic. I mean, he went out there to beat the evil casino. They see the casinos as this evil monster that is set up to take your money. And they'll lie and they'll cheat and they'll do anything they can to get it.
Well, as much as the casinos would love to make this illegal, they can't legislate against intelligence. Unfortunately for them, some people like ourselves do figure out how to beat the game. And they don't like it one bit.
Chloe Taylor, not her real name, capitalizes on various female stereotypes and is a top player for the Amphibian team.
It sounded pretty amazing, actually, that you'd be flown out on the casino's dollar and then put up in these suites and fed and wined and dined, and being young and being ready to travel and experience things that I hadn't experienced before. I was very excited about the opportunity to join the team.
Card on 17, 21.
Women often made great players because people just didn't suspect them. These guys don't think a woman is smart enough to do it.
And I said to Simeon, one of my first, meetings, I said, I'm going to play big. And he's like, oh, no, that's something we'll have to discuss. And no woman's ever really been able to play big. But that being said, if you had the right act, it could also work to your advantage in terms of them thinking, oh, she's a woman. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Stay. This is so exciting.
Kevin Lewis, a member of the Reptiles, has ambition and an unerring ability to calculate the odds under stressful conditions.
I was looking around at all these losers. It is an empowering feeling. It's something nice to have up your sleeve. It's cool, I won and they did it.
Well, I mean, for Kevin's point of view, it really is about the math and science and engineering and using math to beat a system that doesn't seem to be able to be beat. And that's what turns him on, essentially. He's not a gambler. He doesn't consider what he does gambling.
21, good job.
He's doing a math problem.
Andrew Tay, another member of the Reptiles, is an all-American athlete addicted to the thrill of competition and his own star status at the blackjack table.
There you go.
So hot right now.
After I arrived at school, I was there for probably 18 months, and I started to come in contact with a group of guys who always had money on them. There was always a card game going, and after a while they said, we've got this thing going on in Vegas, would you like to join us?
Every new player learns immediately. This is no game. Card counting demands continual practice. In a business where thousands of dollars are bet on one hand of blackjack, teams cannot afford miscalculations or carelessness.
We would practice on average twice a week at least for 2 to 3 hours, and then on our own we practice, maybe 45 minutes a day. It's like taking a musical instrument.
Whether it's just coming home from the gym or waking up in the morning in pajamas, you're counting as quickly as you can and timing yourself. And essentially, if you go through a 50-card deck with the high-low system, you're going to come out at 0.
We made people pass tests, not only once to prove that they were good, but each time they went. Before every trip, we would deal to people. I would be dealt to, and then I dealt to others, to make sure they're current in their skills.
Okay.
So essentially, for about 6 months, 3 to 6 months, you practiced a few hours a day card counting, counting the cards, figuring out the system, knowing how to do it perfectly.
19 by 4 1/4 is 4 1/2. Minus 1 is 3 1/2 times 800.
For these teams, blackjack is a
2800.
business,
Good.
the business of winning.
Total of 19.
They are organized like companies, complete with investors, CEOs, even dividends.
Now, minus expenses.
We had a limited partnership, and we raised investment, sometimes upwards of $2 million, and we took our accounting and our tracking of the value of the play that happened every weekend very seriously.
This is your first trip, so we're going to be watching you and making sure you do a good job.
Unlike most corporations, these college teams employ an unusual ingredient to ensure success.
Picking new people for the team was the hardest part, because in a group like that, you have to have total trust in every player that plays with you.
You all rely on each other much more so than probably the average business. You have to protect each other and be disciplined and follow through.
And so we would take sometimes kids who were just out of college, give them $150,000 in cash, and say, go out there, come back, tell us how much you won. And we'd trust them.
You can't look like you're paying
Players
attention.
practice
It's all
and
about
test.
signals. Remember,
Each
stay
member
good.
is anxious to showcase his skills at the main event. Las Vegas, a city built on a seduction of easy money and a license for infinite excess.
Vegas is about sensory overload. You walk into any casino in Vegas and there is the clank of coins in the slot machine. There are cocktail waitresses walking by. Everyone is there screaming and yelling and throwing dice and having a great time.
Vegas is about disguising what they're really all about. Casinos are beautiful buildings with no windows and no clocks. You go into that casino with money and you come out of the casino without money. And Vegas doesn't really care what happens in between point A to point B.
Las Vegas is a town where would-be winners come and go, and success or failure is never an even bet. For every player, the challenge, the dream, is to beat the house at its own game. And so the teams find themselves on the red-eye flight to Las Vegas, trusting their system and teamwork to defeat the largest casino security system in the world. But nothing is ever certain.
It starts out as one of those heart beating in your throat, where am I, why am I doing this? Any good suspense movie has that period where the main character is sitting there and you can tell that their palms are sweaty and the entire audience is sitting on the edge of their seat.
Each player walks a tightrope, knowing one careless move, one mistake, and the game is over.
I think the most nervous I ever was in the casino was my first trip. We landed at 1 a.m. in the morning in Vegas, taking the red eye from Boston, and all of a sudden it's like, you know, let's go play. And you can feel your heart beating and saying, oh my gosh, like, this is it. This is what all this training was for.
Each new recruit enters Las Vegas like a fighter, stepping into the ring to face a heavyweight contender. They have no idea how many rounds they can survive against a bigger, stronger, more experienced opponent.
The house has advantage over everything. If that rack on the blackjack table, if that money empties out, we just bring more money. But you as a player, or even as a card counter, you still have a limited amount of resources. For the house, it's going.
13. There are going to be days when you lose in blackjack, and there were days I lost $100,000 in 2 minutes on 2 hands of blackjack and turned right back around and had to keep playing and had to believe in those numbers.
The game is blackjack. Cards are dealt to each player with the goal to reach 21. If the dealer can tie or beat the player's hand, or the player's cards exceed 21, the house wins. Card counting allows a player to forecast when and where certain cards will appear.
Originally, the system was developed by this guy, Edward Thorpe. He was able to come up with more or less a pretty simple system that we use, which was the high-low system.
The deck of cards has 3 types of cards. High cards, the aces and the face cards, that are good for the player. Because when the player gets those cards, it usually gives him a winning hand, or blackjack, or a great card when he doubles down.
When a deck still has more high cards in it, the player has an advantage because the dealer is going to bust more often. So essentially all that card counting is just watching the cards as they come out.
If you see any low card, you think of those cards as counting +1. If you see any cards 7, 8, or 9, these are the middle cards or neutral cards. That value would be a 0. And if you see any of the high cards, the 10 through the ace, you think of that card as a -1.
Card counters determine their advantage by mentally logging a running tally of low versus high cards. When the ratio shifts to their favor, when more high cards are left in the shoe, they bet, and they bet big.
21, there you go.
People think card counting is this activity where you have to memorize every card in the deck. But card counting is actually much simpler than that to understand.
Tens and aces and blackjack are good for the player, little cards are good for the dealer. So you just have to keep track of the ratio. If too many tens comes out, then the rest of the shoe is not going to be good for the player.
So let me just show you how we would count a deck. This would be a -1. +1 would give us 0. -1. -2. We're still at -2 because that card counts for 0. -3, and so on.
If you can just do that accurately, which is a lot harder than understanding the description, you could actually beat the casino.
Card on 12, it's 20 perfect.
Mastering the card counting system under game conditions is a constant challenge, and the teams employ a variety of complex tactics to achieve maximum advantage.
There are a number of other techniques and tools that are far more powerful than card counting. One of them is ace location, being able to predict when an ace will be dealt.
In some casinos, you could actually see an ace or see a 10 on the back, and if you know how to cut 26 cards, 52 cards, you can actually then count it down as the cards come out of the deck and be able to steer that ace to yourself for a blackjack or steer a 10 to the dealer to bust them.
20.
Card counting is not illegal. However, casino management has the legal right to eject and ban anyone they feel might be a threat to their bankroll.
Well, you happy with those? Or?
The MIT teams know that card counters are easily detected when they make inconsistent bets.
Example, you have a guy that's betting $5, $5, $5, $5, and all of a sudden he bets 500. Why? You have to ask yourself why. Then you start looking at the play and it's, okay, there we go, we got us a card counter.
21, there you go, that's a good one.
To counteract casino surveillance, the students use an innovative tactic, a team approach to disguise their betting patterns.
So what the MIT team does is they spread 6 to 10 kids out across the casino floor, one person at each table, keeping track of the cards, just betting the minimum.
And they would start counting the tables from right when they started shuffling. And they would just, wait till it got good.
When the deck gets good, they signal in a guy called the big player,
Who would come up to the table and place that bet?
as high as he could bet, $10,000 a hand.
Okay, and the way they would signal to me is they would cross their arms, and that meant the shoe was good. And as I would cross in front of them, they would say a key word to me that would signal to me what the count was.
Football. It's hard to recognize that those two people know each other, and the individual patterns of the individual people don't give them away.
Using this method, the casinos never really saw anybody raising or lowering their bet. So they never really saw a card counter.
And it's funny because if you don't look at the person, you don't make eye contact, it's hard for a camera to even catch that that's going on.
Okay, 20, there you go.
Each player plays a specific role: back counter, spotter, signaler, the gorilla, and the big player. The performances can last all night, each role crucial to team success.
When you first get into the team, you start out as what they call a spotter, which is someone who can count cards but is relatively young in the team.
They sit there all night long, essentially in a 48-hour shift, keeping track of the cards as they come out, playing $10 a hand or $50, whatever the low is. And that's a tough job in a lot of respects.
It's been a pleasure playing.
And when things get good, then you hand it off to someone who's been playing for 6 months or a year so that they can take advantage of the situation.
And that's the guy that has all the skills, walks right in and can get signaled and can be told to count or can just sit down on his own and just start playing. And the goal of everyone was to eventually become the big player.
As you gain more experience, you naturally move from a spotter to a signaler, which would be someone who not only would play the cards, but would also control what we call the gorilla.
What's up, baby?
The gorilla is the team's counter move to use casino stereotypes as effective cover against surveillance cameras.
You sit down at the table and they'll signal you everything. They'll tell you when to raise your bet, when to lower your bet, when to get up, when to do anything, all with hand signals and voice signals.
21. Bingo, baby, you know what our time is.
But it's effective because the gorilla looks like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Hit me. Bam!
The thing with the gorilla that was great was that you could get people that didn't have a lot of time to practice, because I don't think people understand either. This is an art. It's not. This is a science. This is something that people have to practice and practice and practice to be good at.
practicing getting the bets out there, that's
To
all,
pass the
right?
counts without being seen,
Got this, we got
all
this, we got
teams
this, we
employ
got
a
this.
well-rehearsed system of signals,
Signal, come on, let's see the signal. Where's your bet?
communicating fast and accurately.
Can I get that sign out there? It's here, man.
I didn't see a sign either.
Yeah, they were very well
Gotta get
organized.
those signals out, all right?
Very well organized.
Hey, where's that signal?
They had their signals down. It was like a baseball team.
We had a variety of hand signals, whether it was putting your hand to your chin or crossing your arms or standing in a particular position behind the table.
Magazine?
If you crossed your arms, it would mean that you needed to come and sit down. Humor sort of arose when signals got crossed and when people had different signals in mind, and all of a sudden you're saying something that you didn't really need to say.
But the system and the signals are only part of the tools needed for success. Winning big depends not only on how well a team plays cards, but how well they play their roles.
The best way to prepare was to have an act, to have a story. You couldn't just stare at the cards and look really nervous.
Nice, yes.
You had to be relaxed. You had to act like a gambler.
This is so exciting.
You can't be a nerd in a casino. They're not going to believe that you have money to throw around. They're not going to believe that you're really a high roller.
When I first started playing, I made a pact with myself that I'm going to use a different name and a different identity at every single casino and a different act.
Nice little slinky black outfit.
And I think that really played to my advantage because the way that I would dress or my name or my appearance would be different in every casino.
Let's see some good cards here, dealer.
So you had to find people who had a certain look. Semyon was able to pretend to be a Russian arms dealer.
I played at Caesar's Palace as a big player named Nikolai Nogov. Yeah, I never told him I was an arms dealer, but it was implied.
Get some vodka.
Trashy.
So you could wear wigs or you could cut your hair short, you could grow it long, it could be red, it could be blonde, it could be brown. As this one particular player, I had very short red hair and would kind of like slick it back or spike it up depending on my mood, and would wear, you know, just very kind of hip LA clothes and made it look like, you know, I had the money and I wouldn't say a rock star act, but more of like a spoiled brat, rich kid act.
Good luck.
I don't need luck. Come on.
Essentially looked like I'd been partying for, you know, 48 hours. You know, threw some chips on the table.
Nice, like this. Go, go, go. Yes! Oh yeah!
Just acting like a freak. And
Do you guys just love this game? Show me the money. I love this game. Now show me an ace.
they loved me, and I lasted 2.5 years there.
I love you guys.
Your whole presentation in the casino has to follow through. So you might be like really wired, or you might be like really kind of sloppy.
Ooh! I don't know what that is.
You can do so much with just your body language to really kind of throw them that, like, oh my God, look, she's passing out at the table. She can't be doing anything.
Beyond the disguises and the strategy, the genius of the MIT players lies in their knowledge of their opposition. They understand that all casinos build their gaming surveillance around certain stereotypes of players, typecasting race and gender.
Go ahead.
A casino has to overcome all sorts of preconceived notions based on what happens when they first look at someone. And for the casino, approaching someone that they suspect may be a counter or that just walks in off the streets and lays down $10,000 to bet, they have to come to some sort of an initial gut instinct as to whether or not this person is for real. And being Asian was certainly an advantage. To have intelligent, attractive women around is a deadly weapon in Vegas, because as much as being Asian takes you out of the casino's eye in terms of suspicion, being female exempts you from it. No one believes that women are smart enough to be counters or to be gamblers or to spend that much time with cards. And it definitely was a huge advantage.
I remember we're back counting and spotting a table, and these two gentlemen actually ended up propositioning me with 2 purple chips, said, here's $1,000, want to hang out with us for the night?
For the MIT teams, the game is in full bloom. The young students are at the top of the power curve, and the money is pouring in.
21. 21. Blackjack.
Life as a Vegas gambler is good.
I was going to Las Vegas probably 3 or 4 times a month on the weekends, you know, flying in on a red eye at 7 a.m. and showing up at my job at 9 a.m. and then go to meetings, you know, 2 nights a week that might keep you up till 11 or midnight and constantly being on the go. I mean, I guess that's what your 20s are for, right?
Oh, if they only knew.
We'd won so much money then that we had a duffel bag sitting next to us that had about $950,000 in it in cash and chips. The thought that 2 kids sitting here by the pool with this duffel bag, we had, you know, $1 million.
The MIT teams are living every gambler's ultimate fantasy, winning millions legally from the most successful casinos in the world. But even as they enjoy the high life, they are becoming immune to the magnitude of their accomplishments.
It does affect you seeing money in inches rather than in bills. I mean, these guys really think about money and how many inches high the stack is.
You know, people would just throw around bundles of $10,000 at a time, you know, 10 packs with rubber bands. And we never counted them, we just knew they were 10 packs. And if, you know, sometimes one was $100 short, nobody really cared.
Success is proving to be a double-edged sword. The teams win so much money, transporting it across the country creates a problem. Taping bundles of currency to their bodies could easily draw unwanted attention.
You can put chips through the metal detector. They see them in your luggage and they're these strange formation of like, what the hell is that? And they wonder if it's an explosive.
A few times people had to miss their flights because they were assumed to be money launderers, drug dealers.
Some percentage of $100 bills all have a scent of cocaine on them because they were touched at one point by drug dealers. You don't want to deal with that. So you put all the cash on your body, in your pockets, down your pants.
Come on through.
When we were carrying that much money around, you know, it was very dangerous and there was a lot of risk. And if somebody knew that you had that on you, you don't know what people would do to you.
I think the most money that I had on me at any given time was $650,000 in cash and chips. Standing there with $500,000, I mean, I would consider beating somebody up for $500,000.
In the gaming industry, the outcome of every transaction is not certain. So here you have somebody that's sitting there with $80,000 in chips saying, hey, I guess I just got lucky. And you have to ask yourself, did they get lucky? Or did they opportunize on you by using some techniques that change the odds of the game?
Casinos across the country have known about card counting since its inception. As their losses mount, casinos realize there is a problem, but they don't know what, or who, or how. MIT is under the radar.
There's a certain amount of money that a table should make every day. So after a period of a week, this table is losing money. So then we go back and we look at the play. And then we realize we've had a team that hit us.
It is business, and we are looking to have the greatest profit margin possible. You don't build a $1.6 billion resort like this by just giving the money away for free.
The casinos traditionally confound counters through innovations like random shuffling and a 6-deck shoe. But now the gaming industry faces a different kind of opponent, one more threatening to their bottom line.
We do know what a group of these people can do, say in a weekend or a few days of intensive playing. They can do upwards from $250,000.
You have a card counter on the table who is taking advantage, playing his money, playing his strategy. It's easy to spot. When you get a group, you may have 3 people on the table doing the card counting. Then they signal the big money guy to come in at that particular time.
One more big one.
It's hard to figure out which one is actually doing the card counting.
21, there you go again. 18. Okay.
Well, first of all, you have to identify that they're working as a team. Once you do that, then you try to identify as many people as is on the game.
We don't get you the first time, we'll get you the second time.
It was a constant, ongoing battle between them trying to nail us and throw us out, and us bringing in new people with new appearances. When you see your photograph come out of the fax machine, you know it's trouble. It's time to split.
The casinos dedicate every tool they have to uncover who is taking their cash and how. They commit personnel and a sophisticated eye-in-the-sky technology to patiently watch the floor and follow the money.
Because the MIT team was so aggressive, the gaming industry had to respond in an equally aggressive manner. One of the things that happened is the gaming industry started to share more information faster.
Vegas takes money more seriously than the airports take your security. Vegas has been running a system that should have been in our airports many years ago. They have 1,000 cameras in the casino. They have hundreds and hundreds of employees whose whole job it is to watch all the money as it moves around. I mean, they are very serious about their money. They're a business of money, and not just money, but liquid money, cash, right there in the casino.
With millions at stake, a new game begins in Vegas. A high-stakes game between the house and the players. A game destined to last as long as there's money on the table.
Nobody likes to be made a fool of. Nobody likes to be laughed at.
The game is always evolving, but it's a cat and mouse thing. The casinos change something to try to make it harder for counters. The counters learn some new technique.
They would start changing their rules and start implementing new shuffles, taking measures to counteract some of the skills that they knew were out there.
When they respond, you have to respond. Every time you respond to stop them, they respond to get around you. It is a very fascinating game, and at the end of the day, you have to see who wins.
Even as they are pursued, the MIT players are living high. Winning is the passport to a magic kingdom where the players' appetites are fed by an endless banquet of beautiful women and a world where everything is free. It is the ultimate revenge of the nerds.
When we came in, we were the biggest player in the casino. Anything we wanted, we could have. You know, we're talking first-class airfare and the whole top floor sometimes of the hotel, vast suites. We had the lifestyle, and we enjoyed the lifestyle.
Vegas, for me, was a work hard, play hard city. I may get 6 or 8 hours of sleep in the 2 days that I was there. But come Sunday afternoon, when everything's breaking up and it's time to go, all hell would break loose. The casinos would pick up our bar tabs or send us anywhere we wanted to go. And we saw every show in Vegas.
Vegas, all right.
It was exciting for them at the time, glamorous, because here's these, usually referred to as nerds back in college that are now being high rollers, being comped and treated very well when they were here in Las Vegas.
I stayed in 2-floor suites, which had pool tables. I stayed in a room with a butler. Like, I had my own butler, and I had no idea what I needed to do with him. You'd get the VIP booths and get to cut the lines at all the best clubs.
Generally, when you put the money out, the casino is going to get a host for you. So, what do you like? Oh, you like Cristal versus Dom? Okay, I'll make sure you have a bottle in your room every time you check in. Or what type of music do you like? Sting's going to be playing here next month.
Look, it's just funny because you walk into a casino and you have a lot of money.
You have 10, you want to double that down?
And that instantly validates you as this incredibly cool person.
With the exception of 16 or 18 hours that we'd spent playing blackjack and taking lots of money of them, we had anything we wanted at our disposal.
As the teams keep racking up the wins, the casinos decide to call the Griffin Detective Agency, longtime specialists in casino intelligence gathering and surveillance.
Casinos are businesses, and they're in the business to make money. And certainly if you had stock in the MGM Mirage or Park Place, Caesar's Palace or Harrah's, you'd want a return on your money. And any time there is an area in the hotel or casino that it's not making money, they want to know why. And then they ask us.
Generally what happens when the casino catches on is 3 or 4 people show up on the floor that you haven't seen for the last 45 minutes. And they've got one focus and you're it.
Good evening, sir. We'd like to have a word with you.
It's 2 or 3 very large security men standing 10 feet from you, just letting their presence be felt. And when that happens, you pretty much know the game is over.
I'm just on my way out, man. I don't want to trouble. I know you don't either.
The casinos go to incredible lengths to protect their money. The casinos are much more secure than the airports. I mean, the airports after 9/11 went to the casinos to ask for advice on how to set up the camera systems. I mean, that's how good they are.
The risk of discovery by the Griffin Detective Agency heightens the tension among the MIT players. The teams continue to wager and win, but Griffin's investigators are turning up the heat.
When casinos start losing a lot of money, they start putting some real time and effort into figuring out why that is. You know, they're not in the business of losing money. For blackjack players, we had a small window of opportunity to make our money. Well, how long was our life? You know, do we have a 2-year life, 3-year life? And as soon as you get caught by the detective agency, your life is seriously shortened.
The MIT guys really saw it as a big game, how to stay ahead of the Griffin Agency. They actually would call up the Griffin Agency pretending to be a casino supervisor, ask them questions about the MIT team to see how much they knew. So, you know, there was a battle going on.
The game intensifies as the casinos use state-of-the-art surveillance technology featuring facial recognition software. This enables the face of the card counter to be picked out, identified, and instantly sent around the country via the internet. The teams begin getting pressure from every casino they enter, and it's happening faster and faster.
Sir, I need you to move away from the table. I was just leaving. I'd like to talk to you, sir. We need to talk.
The Identics algorithms use something called key feature analysis, and that's actually taking this part of the face here. One of the advantages is that you can change your facial hair, you can shave yourself, you can wear a wig, but this part of your face here actually remains rather constant. There's not a lot of things you can do there to change your appearance.
Facial recognition software started coming into play in the late 90s, and you could walk into a casino and all of a sudden, bang, you're buying a pack of gum in the candy store and you're asked to leave. You don't even get to the casino floor to play.
One of the biggest factors for success is closing the gap between the time somebody arrives in your casino, the time that you determine who it really is, and then how long to back them off the game. Today, that gap can be this short. They drive into the parking lot, they sit down at the table, they're identified before the first hand, and they're backed off the table.
Probably 104 here.
Losses from card counters represent a tiny amount to a multi-billion-dollar per year gaming industry, less than 0.1%. But in the business of gaming, the casinos never lose.
I'd like to have a talk with you, sir. Sir?
As MIT members are routinely identified and ousted from the casinos, the odds of the game are turning against the students.
Going into the casinos thousands of miles away from Boston or Las Vegas, there were all these people there that knew who I was already.
What do we got?
Burnout is when the casino decides that you're no longer a patron of theirs.
Let's go.
Casino heat isn't the only crisis confronting the MIT teams.
Excuse me. I'd like to talk with you.
Oh, I was just leaving.
Their mini corporations are collapsing like so many houses of cards, blown over by internal dissension over money and personality clashes. The students are suffering from an excess of success.
No, I just think it's time that I start earning more.
Robbie, you've only been with us for 6 months.
Money becomes a big issue. I mean, everyone gets greedy when there's tons of money around. If you're sitting there for 48 straight hours keeping track of the cards, you want a lot of money, even though what you're doing might be something anybody could be trained to do, and that becomes sort of something that people fight about.
Al, come on. What's going on with you guys?
There's no more room. We want to start brand new. We got new players coming in. They got their bankroll.
Look, I started this team.
You get insignificant quibbles that turn into big battles inside the team, and everybody wants to be top dog.
So all you guys feel this way, huh?
Sorry, man, you're out.
Young people want to be on top of the heap instead of working as a group to move the heap forward.
I understand that, but I don't think you guys would be making that much if you didn't have people like me out there.
Of course we encountered greed, sure. We encountered greed. We argued about how to split up the money. Win a whole bunch and you have $300,000 when you have to split up after a couple of months.
And they won't even know who you are.
Yeah, we argued. We were human, sure.
I took you to Vegas. I showed you what you knew. Don't you guys come back to me in a couple years and ask me to rescue you.
As the teams splinter into factions divided by jealousy and suspicion, their paranoia escalates. As the old saying goes, just because you're paranoid, it doesn't mean you aren't being watched. After months of surveillance, the Griffin detectives are about to get the break they're looking for.
We followed them sometimes to their meeting places, and the surveillance would show us videotape of what they were doing, and that's the way we could find out what their hand signals were and more about exactly how they were operating.
Sooner or later, when you're that good at a game and you know that people are chasing you and you know that you're staying ahead of them, you start to get kind of cocky.
21, there you go again.
You get away with things because you can get away with them, and because it makes a great story to come out of a session and say, hey, did you see what I got away with?
Perhaps the most startling breakthrough occurs when the Griffin investigators manage to secure an inside source and infiltrate the teams.
+1.
We're sitting in meetings, going, okay, what's happening? What are they doing? Where do we think they're recruiting from? What intelligence do we have from inside their camp?
So he gets paid off $2,000.
No doubt about it. We're figuring out how to get people who are the good guys to pretend they're with the bad guys.
Paranoia and suspicion among the MIT student gamblers reaches fever pitch when a team member's apartment is burglarized and a large amount of cash is stolen.
Somebody knew who they were, knew where they lived, and had followed them back to Boston.
When you're paranoid, when you're worried about things, you know, your world is what you make it. Who knows what it really was at the time, but maybe to us it was a warning sign.
When school photographs and team names are sold to a casino by an unknown person, the shock of betrayal is hard to overcome.
It's well known that at some point a list of MIT Blackjack team members was sold to a casino, and they sold it for $25,000. And you know, we don't know who did it.
I might be nonchalant about it now, 10 years later, but no, this was very disturbing. Of course, there's issues of betrayal and trust. Yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster.
When we finally suspected that they were from Boston and were connected somewhere to MIT, we ordered up several MIT yearbooks.
Bingo, there they all were. Before that, you had pictures of them with wild hair, hats, or glasses, or mustaches. And here they were in their little suit and tie, or their little shirt and tie, looking all prim and proper, like they belonged at MIT.
Spotted, labeled, ID'd. The MIT players are about to play their final hand.
I stopped playing in '99 primarily because I just really felt like there wasn't really much more opportunity for me. I had started burning out in the casinos. I was aware of my image and profile in Griffin, and it started becoming not as much fun.
MIT student yearbooks circulate in casinos from Vegas to Monaco. By the late 1990s, a few die-hard players wager on, but most realize that it's time to cash in their chips.
We made it to where everywhere they went, they were well known. Anytime they went in a casino.
I couldn't believe how young they were. It was like unbelievable.
You know what's interesting also, if you see the Griffin Facebook, which is a Facebook of all the people who are not wanted in a casino, you'll see these MIT kids next to Osama bin Laden. I mean, the casino, they'll have card counters and terrorists in the same book, because they're all people that you want to catch on the cameras.
Well, it was kind of like, you know, we matched wits. You know, it's like, ha, you guys are smart, but so are we. It's that kind of feeling. You know, it took us a while, but we finally got you. You know?
Have a good time.
Team earnings proved the system worked well.
Over a few years, we ended up winning a few $1 million from the casinos.
Blackjack.
I estimated they won between $3 and $6 million over a period of a couple years to 3 years. They had certain weekends where they won as much as $450,000.
Show me some luck here.
Our best year, we returned 154% for our investors.
Cheers!
In no year did we return any lower than 30%.
Beautiful.
So it's like, where can you guys go put your money where you have that kind of, you know, guaranteed return?
No bad guys out here, though, huh? I haven't seen any.
Today, The Griffin Agency and the casinos continue to monitor their tables for card counting teams. With each new school year, they obtain a copy of the MIT Freshman Picture Book for their database. Their technology transmission is faster than ever.
Well, thank goodness for computers. Now we have little handheld palm things that have pictures, photographs, and we can load them with all the current photographs of someone we're trying to identify. Say two casinos in Mississippi 4 miles apart, they can say, this guy just left my casino, watch out, he might be coming your way.
Identifying card counting teams is an important concern for casinos seeking to protect profits. New technologies read invisible codes on cards as they're dealt. Now, computer analysis can identify card counters simply by the way they play their hand.
We also have a highly sophisticated software program that evaluates the play. It's a breakdown, it's called a BJ survey. We put the play in there and it actually gives you a computer printout to tell us that this man is a card counter and what advantage he had over the house.
Today, most student players who made up the MIT Blackjack teams have moved on with their lives.
For most of us, this was not a career goal. It was a lifestyle choice that we made in college. That we were going to go and we were going to party and we were going to have a good time. And most of the people from the team have moved on past the team and gotten careers in private industry. There are only a handful of people that still make their primary income off of playing blackjack.
Good friends.
I miss mostly just the camaraderie of it, mostly the team stuff, mostly just being able to chill and hang out with my friends.
It was Revenge of the Nerds to some extent, but after these people played a lot and learned to act and learned to get along with different people in different ways, maybe they weren't so nerdy anymore.
And Oswald, no strippers.
And so a lot of people, it was a transition to life from college.
Okay, where's that signal? There it is. Where's your bets? All right, you got the bets out.
19 by 4 1/4 is 4 1/2. Minus 1 is 3 1/2. Times 800 is 2,800.
Good. You gotta be faster.
Just imagine all that energy, the intelligence behind trying to beat a 21 game. Can you imagine what they could do for world peace? Take that energy. I mean, unbelievable. Yeah. Like I said, I really admire them, you know. These are some future CEOs of some companies, let me tell you.
It really was a team, and it was tremendously fun. It was us against the casinos, and you know, aside from making money, we got a lot of joy out of the fact that we knew we were beating them. Knowing that, and having the history to prove it, was very satisfying.
For the casinos, their challenges remain as new teams constantly recruit college kids and young professional players from across the country and around the world. Estimates vary on the number of teams currently in operation, but everyone agrees the faces may change, but the game remains the same.
It still exists today. It will go on forever.
Blackjack.
Anywhere there's a technical university, you can bet there's a group of card counters who are playing. Because anybody who reads these books and figures out the numbers realizes that it's true, that you can really beat the system. And so why not do it?
21. Good job.
I guess there's no ending. You just keep going.
The truth is that casinos make so much money and there's so much cash walking in and out of that town that there will always be the little inefficiencies that a well-educated, well-positioned player can take advantage of. There will always be the little guys around that are picking up scraps, and in Vegas those scraps are millions of dollars.